Ryan,
I'm
tell us.
celebrating the West Indies win over England.
Yeah, that
Champion, of
that is
course.
worthy of celebration.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I think that's
It was
I
a little
think
2 minute celebration. I
I,
had to go to the washroom before I come
I
back.
think
So
that's why you're late, Ryan. But anyway, tell us a
yeah.
little bit about
Hmm.
who you are. Why
Well,
why yeah, tell us a little bit about who you are.
okay. Well, I'm Ryan Persaud. I'm 25 years old. I'm in the process of finishing my MBA, and I'm also in the process of becoming a certified ethical hacker certified, CEH. I'm doing Security Plus right now. I also did A Plus, CompTIA A Plus, CompTIA Network Plus. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, and I'm a finalist in the Scotiabank competition not too long ago locally. So now I'm also going through Action Coach, business development. I love entrepreneurship. I love youth, and I've been nominated the other day to head the youth arm of another organization. I'm thinking about balancing all of that. And I've also started my business, which is the Solution Center.
Now,
So
Ryan, how old are you, brother?
I'm 25. I'm
Twen-
25. I'm born
twen-
1990, 12th of December, the same date as my mom.
25 years of age and you're doing all this stuff. Man, I'm telling you, Guyana is very fortunate. Very, very
Oh yes,
fortunate.
I'm also very patriotic about Guyana. Uh, I want to develop here locally because what I saw is that a lot of Guyanese go away, work very hard in a different country, develop that country, reap the benefits because they're incentivized by doing that. But then they also have this gap in their life where they're like, home is there and I'm here. What would if home and there, which is where you develop yourself, is the same place, which is
I,
the
I,
tech capital in Guyana.
I like that. I like that, Ryan. Um,
Yeah.
tell us about the Solution Center. What is this about?
Well, the Solution Center is focused around something I coined called BPAs. It's called Business Process Automation.
Uh-huh.
So with business process automation is where you take small businesses, preferably and medium-sized businesses. You take a lot of mandatory manual tasks and you automate it. One example of what we do is like the HR system, which is where we automate time attendance. Why is it you have to keep a time log? Oh, I have to sign in at this time. This is the time I came in. This is the time I come out. What about if you had a fingerprint system there that just tracks that and it directly links into payroll? Now, you don't have to keep a manual record and nobody can duplicate someone else's fingerprint. That's one example of how persons can take a very manual task and make it automated. A next one, which is where I suggested in my final year project at UG, is electronic voting. With electronic voting, why is it that we have to tally these votes in this country and have to wait 2, 3 days of just tallying the votes, not verifying the votes, because we can still do that manually because of security reasons? Or but if we just did tally was within minutes, you can know the result within the same day. Those are the things that I'm working on: paper-based automation and uh,
So
process-based
so
automation.
how did you actually got started into entrepreneurship?
Okay, entrepreneurship was started. There was a program by the U.S. Embassy, actually the State Department, many years ago, which was held at Georgetown Club. I actually went in there, and it's like you have a couple minutes to pitch your idea, and we have a panel of 3 judges. I pitched my idea there. I wasn't very successful at that time, but it grabbed me. It told me, what about if I was to start my own business? Why do I want to keep working continuously for the rest of my life and not control my pay or my reward? What about if I was in a position to be able to offer value to the world and be rewarded for it? That was the spark that was needed for me.
Mhm. So what type of customers you have?
Well, I've dealt with hotels. I've set up camera systems where they can go vacation and still see what their businesses are doing. I've worked with a catering company, which is a HR time attendance. I've automated the biometric scan system. I've worked with a medical laboratory. I've also helped them. I'm working right now with a call center. I'm helping them to network their systems. They have over 300 computer systems and they have to deal with calls and VoIP and stuff like that. Um, I'm also working with catering companies and stuff like that. I'm dealing with a bakery right next door and many other businesses. I'm applying.
What do you think what do you think is responsible, or what can you attribute your confidence to, Ryan? You obviously know what you're doing. You obviously are
Uh-huh.
passionate about what you're doing. But
Yeah.
where do you think you get the confidence from?
Well, where I get the confidence from is that I was crossed with a life situation like a year ago. I actually was in a car crash, and I asked myself, I came out of the car crash without any injuries, and I was able to recover with the vehicle, and so. Uh, what do I want to do with my life? Do I want to continue working this 9 to 5 job, or do I want to take the leap and do something beyond, which might be rewarding? Might be. But the question was, do I want to take the leap? Now, having crossed that particular situation really had me doing a lot of introspection. What am I about? Why am I here? What's my purpose? And then I spent a lot of time up Anai. I was at the music festival. I spent a lot of time meditating. I'm also a transcendental meditation. I have a level 2 art to live in. I did art of silence for 6 days. And I thought to myself, I just sat there in a hammock or lay there in a hammock, and I thought, what do I want to do with my life? And it says you have to create your own purpose.
Wow.
So this is me using what I've learned, what I know, or where I want to go to create my vision and create my purpose of what I want to accomplish in my life. So this is what drives me basically, me creating this purpose, and it is very rewarding for me because this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is where I'm going, and I know I'm taking baby steps because it is many steps I've taken so far. Again, there was another article that asked me what's the definition of success. I said definition of success is that this: you have life, you have success, but the degree of success is the amount of the steps you take. So I'm just taking those steps and moving on that path. So
You're
basically,
quite wise for your age, Ryan. I'm really encouraged. So
thank you.
so what is your deepest fear about doing business in Guyana?
My deepest fear is unreliability. Also, the time. Time is a major factor because what's happened? People tend to promise things like people promise, "Oh, I'm gonna raise this and do that over this period of time," and then when they go in office, they can't do it. The problem there is that when you want to accomplish something, you need to have a plan first. You need to be realistic about your plan. And what I find is that most people don't have a plan. Most businesses actually just jump in there and say, well, we can do this, and they put on the Guyanese accent. Bye, we could do that, we could do that, we could do this and do that. But when time comes to deliver, they're not there.
So
So my big fear,
that's where you get most of your frustration.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
people not keeping their word, or people not having a plan. How important for all the young entrepreneurs looking at you this evening, this afternoon? How
Mhm.
important is a plan?
A plan is 1,000%, which is unrealistic, is 100% important.
Mhm.
If you don't measure where you're going, how are you going to know if you got there or how far it is?
How long you've been in business, Brian?
Actually, in business, as in performing business, is about 6 months,
Hmm.
but I've been involved in my particular industry and business for over 10
For
years.
10 years. Okay. What type of challenges you have faced when you first started your own business?
Well, the challenges were, you always have this intention that someone tells you about a job. I can do that. Yeah, I can do this too. But then when you go on the job, the parameters of the job are a bit different because, like for example, my first job was doing accounting. This lady had QuickBooks set up and she had the right things. When I got there, now she doesn't have the report. They're not using the reports correctly. Like what I mean is like when you go on the job, then you realize that things aren't the way as you thought they were. So that was the greatest difficulty going on the job, and then your expectations are here, but then the reality is here, and you just don't know what to do, and you end up taking longer because to move the reality into the level of service that you want to deliver, it's kind of difficult.
So how did you get over that? How did you get past those hurdles?
Well, to get past that, obviously you have to do a, a lot of groundwork.
Uh-huh.
You have to do a lot of research. You have to know as much as possible before entering the project, before uh, delivering. And the more you know beforehand is the more you can prepare yourself. So that when you get there, it's like having all your toolkit on the go, like packing a special bag, put in a tablet, put in a USB, put in a screwdriver, put in everything. Because when you go on site, you just don't know what to expect. That was the biggest challenge. And then rather than to travel all the way back to get all these resources and then to deliver it, again, reality is here, expectation is here. And if you don't have the necessary resources to deliver the service at the given time, that's where customers like, I thought you said you would have done this, but then you're like, but this is not what I've expected. Like the whole deliberation between where you want to deliver service, but they just don't have the.
Are you confident in getting customers?
Yeah. Getting customers is not a problem. Actually, what I found is that if you do good business with customers, they come back to you. They come looking for you.
Okay.
It's a situation I'm in with some of our customers.
So
They know,
let's say Ryan that someone, an organization or someone decide to invest in you,
yeah, yeah. Give me 1 second, Uncle. 1 second. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let's say
Oh, yeah, no.
someone or an organization decide to invest in you,
Mhm.
and you have to, and you're going to expand your business. Do you have access to the right talents?
Yes. One of the main skills that I've actually worked on is training, support, and human resource development. I've studied human resource development twice.
Really?
Actually, 3 times. I've studied it 3 times actually. Sorry. I have 3 certificates in human resource development, but that's beyond the point. Developing your people and to get them to the level where you want them, you need to incentivize them. You need to give them the necessary documentation. And you also need to keep a checklist for accountability. So I believe that having those 3 things in place, I can train anyone and get them up to scratch where I need them to. What are your qualifications? What is your experience? And then you can know from there, okay, if this is where you are and this is the requirements of this job, in order to do this, you need to know this. So I'm going to train you how to do this. These are the programs that we have available. I've looked at ABE training in terms of marketing. I've looked at CompTIA training. These are the programs we're going to offer you for free. This is part of your job. Because in order to you to be able to have excellent service delivery, you need to know these things. And then we're going to train them, get them on board. Okay. And then we're going to say the first week, this is what we expect. And this is what you have to do. If they can deliver that, then we say, yes, you are the candidate. If they can't, we go back and give them a second chance that this is the next week. These are our expectations of results. If they can't, we do some more training. Again, there's a plan to get persons onto the job to be able to have service excellence, which is what this is what I'm really looking for in any employee that will work with me.
I feel very silly with the next question I was going to ask you, a
Uh-huh.
follow-up question, and that is, how are you convinced that you're cut out for entrepreneurship? But after listening to this, I am thinking, well, what encourages you to go out? Let me just throw it out there anyway. What
Go ahead.
encourages you to continue doing what you're doing, Ryan?
Well, one of the main things is that when I look around Guyana, customer service, especially that terms and many dialects of it, is missing. Um, when you go to a place, like people don't even know how to talk to you. It really hurts. This is from a personal level now. It really hurts my heart to go to businesses and then to deal with these hardships because, first of all, it's not the employee's fault. And second of all, the persons in charge don't know that customer service is lacking. And then the customer is there suffering, I just need another whatever. I need a combination of this. I just want this to make me feel happy. And then then the person delivering the service is like, we got this, and it's like, if they had very good. If they just have a basic training in customer service in all these businesses, we would be so much better. But people don't just, it just hurts my heart that customer service and service delivery standards are so low. You know, like for me, like my goal is that not only for me in making money and being an entrepreneur, but to also see a change in the country in terms of people doing these things. Because other countries, you can go there, especially where tourism, hospitality are major parts of their economy. They train these people and they have these things, and you just feel happy to be a part of their country and their culture. So, but when you come to Guyana, it's like, nah, you just not satisfied.
Ryan, how can people find you?
Uh, Find me on Facebook, Ryan Persaud. They can find the Solution Center. I have a number, WhatsApp, 643-9775. They can get on to me, solutionsguyana.com, solutionsguyana@gmail.com. There are many ways.
And what is most rewarding about what you're doing?
The most rewarding to see the results. And when I say results, right, I don't mean like financial results. I mean like the non-financial results, the strategic results, which is basically seeing people happier, seeing people less stressed. Because again, I do a lot of meditation. Actually, I went to transcendental meditation yesterday, group meditation, uh, just to see people have a reduced level of problems in their life. I'm a problem solver. Again, the solution center is to fix problems. You know, having met with a doctor of psychology many years ago and going on to studying certain basic psychological terms and terminologies, we need to have EQ. The emotional quotient of our country is missing. We have development in business, we have development in economics, but we, the people, are not happy, which is a measurement of the emotional quotient. I believe that's really missing, and I believe that's really was necessary right now because it's not all about progress in these financial aspects. There are a lot of non-financial strategic aspects that really need to be in place because not because you have the interest of the people, meaning that you would be able to deliver what they need.
But let me
Because
ask you a question. You're talking about that.
yeah,
If if there were to be a movement of
yes,
young entrepreneurs, right?
yes,
Young people doing business for themselves and so on. What do you
yeah.
think that will translate to? What do you think that will mean for young people and for Guyana?
Okay, well, one statistic is that 80% of employment in one of these developed countries, I would believe that it would be America, comes from a small business. I believe that a small business provides several benefits to any country, especially a developing one. Now, having a small business, you employ people, you provide monetary benefits, but one of the things is that there's a circulation of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Small business are the gears of any economy. They are what keep the wheels turning. They are what keep business going. Because large businesses are there. They already have their ways of making money. But without other small businesses circulating in the economy, I believe it would be very difficult to get further development. Small businesses also are very unique. Each small business can be categorized as very unique in itself. If you were to analyze each individual small business, you would realize that it calls for a creative skill to develop each individual business. So more youth getting involved in business is actually very encouraged because one youth will do it differently from another. Yeah? The
Wh-
whole way of approaching it would be different.
What
And
type of what type of reaction you got from your peers, your friends when you first started?
uh, at first, I did it. They didn't really know what I was doing. I was a lot of behind the scenes. I had a lot of coaching. Um, I had a lot of internal development I was going through. Like
Mm-hmm.
they didn't really notice it. They were like, "Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that." Yeah, but only when they saw like the Scotiabank competition, and then being a part of programs like this, and then flying away to Jamaica, doing Startup Jamaica, then they started to be more interested. More people are interested in the results, but I believe life is like an iceberg. People only see what's on the surface, but below it's 80 times more. Yeah, iceberg below the surface is 80 times more.
Yes, I got it.
of what is shown. So it's a lot of work I had to do behind the scenes before people start to really notice what I was doing and where I was going and so.
What do you believe is your most valuable asset as an entrepreneur?
My most valuable asset is something that I would term my competitive advantage. People also have the other terms for it, my unique selling point, or basically what makes me different as an individual to sell my skills, which would be my IT area,
Mhm.
and also being involved in a lot of meditation, I would
Mhm.
say. Those are the things that drive me the most.
So Ryan, what
Not having done that, it would be very difficult.
where do you see the solution center in 5 years?
Well, in 5 years, I plan I have a 5 year plan actually. So I'll go into the details of that. I really want to expand to the Caribbean. I
Mhm.
see myself leading technology in the Caribbean, specifically a lot of partnerships with World Bank and with Jamaica, which they're 5 years ahead of us, by the way, already.
5 years.
Yeah, they're already 5 years ahead of Guyana in terms of their service delivery, in terms of IT, their infrastructure, in terms of they have a functional 4G network, they have a faster internet connection. Like those things are critical, right? They already have those things in place. So for me, 5 years, I see my business utilizing these new technologies and delivering very great service. I see myself not only for developing where Solution Center is, but in terms of developing the Caribbean, getting us on board onto the online market. A lot of things locally are not out there. Actually, I have a product called the Sweepy, which we innovated in another young entrepreneurs and innovations of Guyana, which is a Florida partnership we had. Um, why don't we have more innovation in the Caribbean
Mhm.
in terms of developing our products locally? That we can use coconut, we can use those other things. So I see myself putting those products on a technological platform that globally reaches the rest of the world. Like,
R-
okay, you can get cars rip online, stuff like that.
Ryan, if you had
Uh,
the ears, if you had the ear of the government, the Minister of Telecommunications to be exact,
yeah.
what would
Okay.
you say? What are 3 or 4 points you would make to her?
All right, the first point is that we need infrastructure. We need a functional fiber optic connection. If that's too expensive to set up, we need to have a 4G or even a 5G network because a 5G might even be cheaper to implement with the newer technology. We need to have a space where people can exchange data very quickly. Second of all, we need a lot of IT security policies in terms of sharing of data between agencies. What I find is that GRA is not willing to share data because they do not trust these other third-party industry businesses. NIS, I've worked very closely with them too. They're not willing to share their database. So what if we had a lot of security policies and then implement those policies to ensure the security of those organizations? Okay, I can feel comfortable as GRA to share my information with NIS. Republic Bank can share the information with Bank of Guyana. Like those are two critical areas there, which is the infrastructure, the security policy, and third of all, I need to have a lot of young tech persons involved in technology training. What that means is we need persons that are involved in basic computer literacy because I know, first of all, English literacy in Guyana is very low. So we need the youths to be involved in like how to use a computer, how to be involved in using Word, how to be involved in using the internet, and then how to be involved in using technology and a continuous training process. Yeah, I'm in the middle of an interview. Yeah. So those three aspects, I'll summarize them again. The
Mhm.
first one would be infrastructure,
Mhm.
having a very functional data exchange network, then having IT policies to govern the exchange of data, and then uh, basically training and development, specifically youth, but also other arms of the country because youth are more willing to learn new things, but also training older persons too how to use the technology across the other two arms. So that would be my plan. The first three things that I will look at in an aspect. There are many others too, but those are the three most critical that's needed at this moment right now.
Ryan, for the young people, young
Yeah.
and entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
what are 3 books you would recommend that they
All
read?
right. One of the most influential training in my life was actually Dale Carnegie. You don't need to go to the training. You can learn how to influence people and win friends.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the first book. The second book would actually be Sun Tzu, The Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the third book, I would say there's a book by Peace Pilgrim. I can't remember her. It's a free book. You can just go to the website and you can get it. She walked around America about 5 times, just walking. She ran over 10,000 miles. Yeah, running. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. She actually ran her journey with on volunteer service. She would not ask people for anything. People would just give her, and she ran around America like that. So it's like those three books: Peace Pilgrim, uh, The Art of War, which is number two, Peace Pilgrim number three, Art of War number two, and How to Win Friends and Influence People number
Yeah,
one.
encouraging. If you
Yeah.
could turn the time, if you could turn
Uh,
back the hands of time,
okay.
what would you love to do in regards to your business?
I wouldn't change anything. I believe that everyone's life is unique, and I believe my life is unique, and I believe that the things that happened in my life were necessary because I believe that those things were helped to shape who the person I am. And if I would have changed anything, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I believe those things help to shape me, especially the difficult situations. I thank God for those difficult situations and His blessing in saving me from the consequences of the worst of it, that I can be here today to be able to speak with you and to be able to share my thoughts, which can hopefully help at least one person to move themselves
Ryan, for those days when you don't feel like getting up and doing what you have to do, who or
forward.
what gets you out of that mindset?
I well, it's difficult at times to turn over, but what I find is that when I take the first step, everything else becomes a blur. So I would say if you're in a difficult situation, don't think about it. Just take the first step. And after you take that first step, it just everything becomes secondary. Everything basically becomes secondary from there. Just take the first step. That's all is needed. With any change and any improvement, just take the first step. So I try not to think about it too much. I mean, my mind doesn't want to get caught up in that. What I find is that when I wake up in the morning, and like I usually get very discouraged and so, and then I'm like, from the time I take that first step,
That's
everything
it.
just works out. Yeah.
Do you believe a youth movement on entrepreneurship is possible?
I believe youth entrepreneurship builds business, small business, large business, medium business, commerce, e-commerce, business development, training, support. All these things are what are necessary most right now. Education, re-education. I believe that's what we need right now to move forward.
Can the
If
government help?
what I believe the government are they aren't the describe it. They aren't the sparks. Government is not the sparks to lead a change in any country. It comes from the people. So I believe that the government can be facilitators of the people. Success in any country, which I've seen, I've looked at several other organizations. I've looked at specifically Alibaba in China. He found a way to help the people to do more in his country. So I believe the government could just do more research into what motivates the people, and then to help to bring the motivating instruments to the people. I believe that's what they need to do. They can't help the people to do what they do because it comes from internal spark. The people themselves need to see where they are and then move forward. I believe that what the government can do instead is to facilitate the sparking of the people.
Ryan, Ryan, thank you.
Yeah.
You are quite an inspiration, and what I've been
Wow.
hearing from the people who referred you, I
Mm.
have to agree they're correct. But you're much more than what they say. You're quite an inspiration and a young leader. And
Okay.
I'm hoping that the Solution Center continues to grow, and
Yeah.
and all your wishes, all your desire, and all your vision for it unfolds in a wonderful way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you a lot for this opportunity to be able to speak. I don't know who I'm speaking with or what is out there, but I hope that if just a bit of the message which has helped, yeah, I'm coming. If a bit of the message which has helped me can help someone else, that would just be enough to
You're welcome. You're
spark.
welcome, brother. Good
Yeah,
evening.
man. All right. Good afternoon.
All right, bye bye.
All right. Bye.